Right, it's always the joys of trying to record in loud places.
Fine.
Yeah. So would the two of you care to introduce yourself and what team or pair you fly with?
We'll let Josh go first. He said earlier he's the boss. So.
I'm Josh Mitcheson. I lead Fracture Kite Team and I fly with the Quad Mob, and we fly Fracture pair together.
And that's with me, Harry Neale. I joined 4 years ago now. I try and keep up, but my skill is still quite low.
You've only been flying for 4 years, or you joined 4 years ago?
I flew first. How old would I have been? I would have been about 10. Because I was around with James and Carl around that time. So when would that have been? That would have been 2003, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I flew a kite. I did some figure eights, whatever.
Yeah.
Realised I couldn't land, gave up on that, and thought I'll fly Revolution. But then never really got good enough to do anything with it, so I just decided I wanted to be a racing driver. And then ran out of money, obviously. Didn't get anywhere, so I came back.
So it ended up, okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Dang. So you guys came here as Team UK for the World Kite Cup. Any thoughts? Other than we tied with you, so you know, it's cool. It's
cool.
I
think the best teams come forth.
Yep. It took skill
Absolutely.
For both of our teams to get the same score on.
Exactly, because we had to watch your ballet and go, right, okay, so I think that's about a 7, so we're going to get exactly the same.
Don't know how that happened. It's horrible.
Yeah.
But great at the same time.
Crazy across 4 disciplines to be exact. It's madness.
It's been fun, hasn't it, really? It's a different kind of competition that we can all get on board with, I think.
Yeah.
We had no idea what to expect, really. It's not been done before. We haven't been to the Kite Master show or any of the other competitions. We went to one of Roger's festivals in Fréjus, but that was for the Euro Cup. Mm-hmm. So we had no idea what to expect.
Which is completely different,
It's a competitive ballet among demonstrations. You know, it doesn't get any easier than that. I think it's a really inviting format.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy for the crowd to understand. So from that side of things, it might make someone want to have a go.
Hopefully.
Didn't know what to expect, but we've had a great time. I think it's been, weather aside, it's been really good.
Yeah, we're all in here because it just dumped rain and we ended half an hour early, but
well, today was the best day and the worst day for the weather, so the average is about the same.
Yeah, I was laughing. I just put up some photos on our Facebook page of in the morning it's bright blue sunshine with Mario and blue skies behind, and then there's the photo of Wadi and it's just a sheet of rain coming down.
Yeah.
Welcome to France.
Just raining sideways for the flying squad at the end there as well.
Yes. So you guys are both experienced. You've flown with, some of the other competitors that are here. Like this is in a way your stomping ground, right? And Team USA, at least half of our competitors have either never competed or never traveled and done this type of format. So we already know they're taking away a lot that they're going to take back to their fields. What are you guys taking away from here?
Do you want me to take this one?
Yeah.
If you've got a good answer.
I think for us, it's competitive kite flying needs to be more inclusive. We need to understand what people want to achieve, how it can be fun. That needs to be the main thing, is that this has to be an enjoyable process.
Yeah.
We've got Stack in the UK, and that's great, and that's kind of fed through some of the pilots for this. And the thing that me and Harry have had is we were meant to be as a team. Unfortunately, 2 of our members couldn't come, so we've taken the world on effectively as a pair.
Yeah.
But we've had fun doing it, and because of that,
there was a lot of tension. Not tensions between the teams, but certainly in some other teams, you see that they were quite stressed out by the whole situation.
That was really hard for me to see. Just knowing how we're managing our team and keeping the spirit up, and And knowing that like some other people came here and it wasn't as good of a experience for them. There was, frustrations, animosity, what have you.
I mean, you've got the poor Spanish guys and losing their kites before the competitions even start.
Well. Oh, Taiwan, yeah. Taiwan's just getting their clothing luggage today.
Wow.
And everybody starts leaving tomorrow night, right?
So we had an easy drive, a laugh on the way, and we've had food, a shelter, everything that we need, and just, great fun for 5 days. I had 9 days.
So smug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I think it's just an enjoyable thing to be at. And people need to know that as well and get on board.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing is now we know a little bit what to expect, and I think there is value in this format. There was discussions in the past about the crowd vote side of it, and I'm glad that wasn't ready. Not that I'm against the idea, but I think it needs to be sort of carefully thought through.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea as an aspect.
Yeah.
Maybe not the predominant aspect, especially with given conditions we've had. Yeah. When the wind drops below 3 miles an hour mid-routine, and everyone's kites fall out of the sky, that's really difficult for anyone to manage.
This taste comes into that as well. Not everybody is going to like some of the hardcore bassy tracks, but then the variants, it's completely down to personal taste. And I don't know what French people like.
Well, apparently not our music.
Yeah, not our music apparently, so.
They seem to very much like the show tune style, which it's not us, but it's done well, so you can't fault it.
I have an aversion to show tunes because I think it's much like figure skating or any of that other stuff. You're trying to jam too much into something that already has a story, and it doesn't work for me. And it actually I just get kind of But that seems to be the predominant flavor over here, and so knowing that, it would be, if I were to compete, I probably would try to pick a music that would fit.
It's not my liking, but you can appreciate the choreography with it. It's quite obvious choreography.
Yeah, and I think now it's a case of know your crowd, isn't it, as well? If that's the language, I suppose, that is understood, then we've got to look at ways to incorporate it that still fit within our image and our things we like. I don't want to listen to that music the whole time. It's not for me.
But it's quite interesting to think that without the public side of it, the judges alone, I mean, America and us, we basically used the same artist, nearly the same track, and we've come out with the same score. It seems a little bit coincidental.
Yeah.
Can we join your team next time?
We'll be the UKSA.
Yeah, the United States of Kingdom.
Yes. Oh boy.
Does that work?
We might piss off a few people.
Maybe not. We've got to get the pitchforks chasing after us.
Oh boy. Yeah, actually, so before the event started, I was talking with some folks back home about things I was looking forward to and what we might expect and all of that. And something actually, it's not a disappointment because I just don't think it's practical that it could turn out this way, but something I had somewhat hoped to see was that each country would bring their flavor of music and fly their style. And that would be up against one another. Now we know France is going to win here. It's France and etc. But like the Colombians, like I would love to see some Latin fusion salsa, music, which there was on some of their demos, right? And like the Taiwanese.
Taiwan with a wimbo. That was fantastic. We really enjoyed
Best
to see
ballet
that.
I've seen
Exactly,
this week.
but a lot of that, everybody kind of bring their Eurovision style, right? Like, let's bring a little bit of your flavor to this competition.
But do you think that's maybe because of what we were just saying of we understand what people are expecting.
Yeah.
So it's tailored to expectation over personal culture.
Well, also when you're starting something like this as well, you're going to look at what's gone before. So you're either going to fall into the boom boom heavy bassy tracks or the show tunes. Typically, there's very little middle ground if you look at successful stuff in the past.
Yep.
So from an inspiration point of view, I guess it makes sense that people kind of follow that sort of recipe, I guess.
Well, and like we just said, if you're coming here with the intention of scoring high, and you know what the judges look for.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we fly.
We're still trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Well, now we know it's come with a show tune.
Well, now I know it's
or
really,
some version of a show tune.
What we've sort of established from this week is it's really tidy is the thing they're looking for more than exciting. Now to have both would be fantastic. But yeah, the priority it looks like is just to get it clean. So something to work on. I need to spit that water.
Something to think about, isn't it? Please don't.
It's cold.
Yeah. I know for some of the folks we brought, and this definitely reflects on the style of flying that happens with a lot of the demos and stuff in the U.S. is very like flowy, curvy. Like it kind of floats between the maneuvers, particularly quad line, right? And then you see like flying squad that was flying as the Dutch, and then yourselves and a handful of others.
Oh, and the
right?
Germans, I think, were the opposite extreme. It was the
very
mechanical,
punctuated, like
but absolutely
punchy, hard, tight corners, and it was like, that looks great.
And the perfect dead stops as well.
Yeah,
and it's
and that's
impressive.
Scored higher here.
But I think that comes from historical influence more than anything. Because we fly Furies because we've got a good relationship with Carl. There's a Scratch Bunny's influence there. There's an aircraft influence. We must have watched every YouTube video available to find moves and shapes that we can not steal but adapt and try and make our own. So it's about who you surround yourself with. And I don't know the US pilots that well, but I'm guessing that's a typical style among that kind of group of flyers.
Yeah. There's nobody that I can think of that flies like that in the States. That flies that very punchy, like dead stop punctuated style. I mean, the closest actually is Waddy with some of his indoor routines. The hard stops and punctuated like hard corners that we saw here. Can you think of any U.S. flyer that flies like that for demos or?
Certainly not to this extent.
No, I think you're the closest.
In some cases,
I
will obviously Bressy, Dylan Glenn, Steve DeRoy. There's something I certainly can and do on occasion, but it's not really usually the style.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm wondering what that score would be like from a set of American judges saying, that's got to be experimented with, I think.
Hey, we might have to create maybe not the World Kite Cup, but another world event in the U.S. and bring everybody over.
Please do.
And we'll definitely make it of, whatever team scores highest wins.
I'm always open to travel.
Yeah.
I love getting on planes.
We got to somehow find the funding for it. It might be everybody finds their own sponsors, but that's one of our downsides is almost all of our festivals, and I know you guys have suffered this as well. As festivals it's hard. It's hard.
We've still got quite a few, but a lot of them are now alongside other things. So I'll be alongside a car show or.
And festivals and competition in the UK is not aligned at all. It's not relevant to a festival because they want demonstration. They don't want to see people doing a boomerang. Where's the public going to enjoy that? It's.
And there's not.
I'm glad you guys don't fly precision at festivals. It's so boring. Do not fly precision in competition.
We did have the boomerang in our ballet, though, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we do.
Well, that's different.
It's split.
So I do have a question though regarding your ballet. I believe it was the ending.
Which one?
The quad.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
True, because you guys also did the dual para ballet, and you did, okay.
Yeah.
So the quad para ballet, you're flying fulcrums. You did a flying pass-through, right?
Yeah.
Where you flew essentially between each other's lines.
Yeah.
Practice it often, or?
No, we rode it the day before.
Oh, jeez.
Basically, we were flying the ballet, and the wind was really nice.
Yeah.
Was it Wednesday night?
Yeah.
One of the evenings this week, and I just said to Josh, well, actually, hang on, just hear me out here. Let's just try this. And it didn't work the first couple of times, but we both saw the idea, and it obviously happily it worked in the competition. But yeah, it just we've been tweaking it every day since we got here.
Yeah.
Because we didn't really have much time to practice.
Well, it was the basis of our ending was originally come together, roll over and land.
Okay.
But we've done that already in the ballet, so how can we add a little bit of variety and
little punch.
something the judges are going to remember?
Plus, it's something that's really difficult on a rev, which is a typical rev style kite, which, because ours is a bit rounder, a bit less deep.
Less catchment points.
Yeah, so you can kind of...
It sort of suits the tool, as it were.
What you don't see so well from the record is it was blowing about, I'm going to say 100 mile an hour. It wasn't, but...
I've watched a lot of the videos, and in most of them you can hear the music, and in ours, no chance. It's just the wind, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we were on 300-pound line for quads.
Yeah.
That's that gap got gradually narrower.
Well, there's one point that halfway through there's a bit where we've stalled for a little while, and then we come up and we do 3 lines each. Which probably sounds wrong out of context, but
we have had great context and takeaways on this podcast so far, so don't worry. I'm sound biting.
Well, maybe that would have made me have the power to hold on, but we get about halfway through it, and it nearly pulled me over. It's a bit. I'm glad it actually shows in the video, because I thought, did I imagine that? And I watched it back, and no, it is crazy. But yeah, I have to take a couple of steps forward. This is holding on to a power kite at this stage.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really surprised. Just traditionally, when I set up to film dual lines, I know you're going to be booking up and down the field. Like it's an always be walking with dual lines, right? I don't expect it from quad lines, and I nearly got ran over. And so, like, several of the videos, either they came and backed right up into me, and I'm not ready with that with quad lines, right? So the video like jumps because I'm like lifting the camera and running backwards, or God, there was the high wind stuff, and I'm like holding it, and I'm looking down, and the whole camera, even though it's in front of me and or downwind of me, it's buffed. The whole camera is shaking from the wind that was hitting it.
Well,
coming around me. Yeah.
We kind of we trained 2 weeks beforehand with that ballet, because we'd literally just finished it for this competition.
We've flown it once all the way through before we. Well, it was the weekend before we drove over, wasn't it? Yeah. We had the Sunday, and that was it. So this, people kept coming up and saying, "Oh, you're going to fly the quad ballet for demo?" Nope. We gave it the whole, it's the competition one, we don't want to show our hand. It just wasn't ready. We hadn't practiced it yet.
Our preparation went like this. We finished the ballet, we went out and flew the ballet. We realised that actually both of us hadn't done enough flying. Not for not wanting to, I've just had a son, Harry's got busy work life.
Yep.
We're flying the kites and we're going, we could do this last year, we're starting to turn into old men. Carl, can we have a more vented kite? 2 weeks before the competition, never going to happen, but they pulled through. Carl gave us permission to vent our kites further.
Yeah.
Ramal got us the kites in 3 days, I think it was.
Wow.
From America to France to the UK.
Wow.
And then got to the 2 days before we were due to leave, and I've said, Harry, I'm looking at the wind, and it's looking low for days. That didn't happen.
No.
Yeah. So what we were actually saying about colour schemes, because just most of Josh's are the monochrome, and I've gone for a splash of colour to contrast. But we were talking about which one we're going to use the most and which frames we put in which, and I said, well, we're probably never going to use the super vent, but it's nice to have it.
Yeah.
And it's the only one we use, basically.
Yeah.
But it's probably also a good time talking about the kites for an absolute shameless shout out to Fraser.
Yeah.
I had my super ultralight in November. I've flown it for 5 minutes in slightly too high wind and broke both of the outer spreaders.
Yeah.
And he turned that round in, I think it was 2 days over Easter break as well. So,
Wow.
Well,
yeah, that's quite graceful.
on top of that, when we were looking at the forecast that was low, I panicked because I didn't have the super ultralight. I messaged Fraser, I was like, look, dude, have you got this? Didn't have it in stock, but managed to put one together for me and get it delivered in less than 24 hours. I
Dang.
thought, yeah.
So, yeah.
Very nice.
And his handles
Which is
are the
why
best.
Very nice. Yeah.
Representing his logo on our team.
Perfect. Perfect.
So, yeah.
Perfect.
Hope
Yeah,
that's okay.
they've commented, or he's commented on the Sport Kite videos a few times.
Yeah,
in the posts when you
he's
guys
had
went
his
out.
eyes on it.
Yeah. Has been very excitedly watching.
You can't fault the guy for enthusiasm as well.
No,
and he
and
just
I-
loves kites. And he just wants to make kiting better. I think
Yep.
that's his whole objective. So yeah, no, appreciate his support.
Yeah, which again, a big shout out to him. I know he's got, he's got Facebook, Instagram, I believe TikTok, YouTube, all those. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about TikTok. I feel I'm too old for that. Mentally, it's just
no, he's also part of a content creators group that I have for kite people, and I'm fairly certain I see his stuff in there. And we talk about content generation and.
He just loves it. It's just great.
Very much so. And actually, he's one of the first people that just joined. We launched, which here I am saying it on the podcast, and I don't officially have it fully set up yet. We've also launched a whole WhatsApp community for sport kiting.
Okay.
And then I have a Discord channel that is for all kiting with subsections for sport kites. I'm in the framework process of getting it all built so it'll go forward, just as another source for like the community, right, to potentially use, because I know not everyone wants to be on Facebook, not everyone wants to be on TikTok, not everyone. So it's like, okay, well, here is a spot you can all chat, and it's there.
and pretty much everyone uses WhatsApp these days anyway. So.
Yeah, and especially internationally. It's not used a lot in the States, but definitely international. Like that's all I use when I travel to events and festivals.
I wonder why it's not used. Probably
It's
not
weird.
relevant for.
Yeah, yeah, that's a whole other issue. All right, so yeah, you guys got anything you're looking forward to going ahead after this event?
We've got ideas, haven't we? We've already had a discussion about what comes next.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been listening to a few tracks as well. Maybe Lamb's ideas as well.
Oh,
and
Lamb.
music.
Lamb's kind of magnetised to us this weekend.
What a guy!
Good,
What
yes.
a guy!
Yeah.
So, yeah. Words
yeah.
cannot describe.
We've got some ideas. We're excited to try and get better as well. Because the limit in the high wind was not the kite; it was us. Like you speak to Carl, he says you don't even need the super vent. He would be on the nail. With
Be on the super ultralight.
So you know,
Yeah.
his whole powered up thing, and we're just not up to it. So that's personal improvement.
But I think we're looking forward to seeing people's perception of the fulcrum wide.
Yeah.
Because I'm not bigging up my own boat here, but after my individual, I've had a few people come up to me and go, I didn't know the kite could do that.
Yeah. You did what was it? You did a few not clam rolls, but
Yo-yos.
there we go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have words, but you did a few yo-yos in the middle of your quad routines.
Yeah, it's... Lamb came up to me and says, I've never seen a quad line Lazy Susan. I've never seen them comet. And he swore at me with brilliant compliment, but I'll not repeat what he said. But yeah, so I'm hoping that expands a little bit and people get on board with it, because I know we've got
And even
ideas.
just before we came over here, there was someone stopped us,
Yeah.
wanted to ask about the kite and where we could buy it as well. So
Yeah.
it's it'll be nice. Well, if we come back next year and there's another one in the mega team, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
'Cause,
that's growth for you.
well, I think a lot of people just don't see them, and so why would I invest? Let's face it, a plate these days is a lot of money. Why would I invest that money in something that I've not seen other people use?
Yeah.
When I know that this that everyone's using is going to work. So for you hold a shape in a mega team and everyone's flying revolution style.
Of course, you're not really great at that, are you, Harry? After the other day's mega team.
That wasn't a kite issue. That was my own focus.
Someone fall out of the sky.
No. I fell out of the bottom of Bob.
That's what that was.
Yeah.
All of us downwind of you were like, are they making Bob? Because it looks like.
Well, I didn't realise because
we couldn't tell what it was.
the instruction
There was like no body, and it was just like arm, leg, and a head.
and then there was a third leg. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So the instruction was flying squad and Germany kiss, right? So it was, and I was in that column. I thought, yeah, okay, we'll do that. And it was Josh did it, and I was underneath. And then while I was focusing on that, because I was thinking, oh, how am I going to do this? Because which bit of the fulcrum do I get inside their bridle or whatever? It's different shape. And I was focused on that and figured out what to do. Didn't realise the legs had come in, and until Stephen said, I'm not sure what that is. Hanging out the bottom of him, but
well hung Bob.
At which point, obviously, Josh started pissing himself, laughing, and it's hard not to. Very immature, but you can't.
That was the most fun we've ever had one of those mega flies.
It's just for me, it was the realization because I hadn't noticed, and it was the unexpectedness. I just couldn't hold back. It's fantastic.
Awesome.
Funnily enough, I've not seen any pictures of that anywhere.
Nope.
Yeah, I wonder why.
We ruined that one.
I know I didn't get photos from where I was at.
Ah well.
Because I had I'm not sure what they're making right now from this angle.
No, I'm sure people think it was deliberate, but honestly, it wasn't.
We were meant to give him a pair of shoes. We give him a pair of something else.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing I did was go and apologise to Stephen, and he just said, actually, well, that's what rev teams are about, isn't it? Mega fly is meant to be fun. Mm-hmm. So he was accommodating to my faux pas.
It was an unintended thing.
It was.
All right. Y'all got anything else you want to share other than I know we'll probably have you on the podcast again in a quieter atmosphere.
Yeah, we'd like that. I mean, we were going to come over, but he's been asleep at 8:30 every day. So.
Oh man.
I've got no screaming child at night. Why wouldn't I take advantage of that?
Fair. I'm up at 6 and we've been up until like 2-3 in the morning almost every night.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. No chance.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well,
not a lot from me.
Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll include all your fancy socials and stuff so folks can find you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Cool.
It could be more interesting, but we're knackered.
Good.